work now? I have been asked to speak into the microphone that you can hear me. So my name is Jürgen. I'm working with Gigamon since 2013, and I'm here today to tell you something about why we fight together smart with security companies. Who of you knows about Palo Alto? Okay, who knows about FireEye? Okay, and who knows about Gigamon? Ah, some. So that's great. So let's start the presentation. Gigamon decided in 2016 to fight against cybercrime, and that is crucial because the data in networks becomes so overwhelming that tools need to get the data tailored. Let me give you a small example. HTTPS is the traffic which is going through the web, and SNMP is the mail traffic. These are the three sorts of traffic which an ATP appliance, like a FireEye appliance, wants to see. If you're sending video traffic or other traffic, the appliance needs to process that, but it cannot do anything with it. So there is the need for Gigamon. There are three challenges. So the traffic is growing into the network and the traffic is getting faster and faster. So you're getting into from 1 gig to 10 gig, from 10 gig to 40 gig, from 40 gig into 100 gig. And the virtualization is increasing in your networks because a server is not anymore a server. A server is a virtual device sitting on a ESXi of VMware or an open source virtual machine, and this traffic needs to be monitored that you can bring it to security devices or other monitoring tools. And then, of course, you have security. So lining up all the security devices in the perimeter makes you a lot of delay, so that needs to be taken care of as well. These three challenges are in the network, and it needs somebody to take care about it. And Gigamon has its mission to combine the network and the cloud. Think about Amazon Web Services needed to be used in your customer for some purposes. How do you guarantee what the data does in that web service, cloud service you have purchased? And how do you analyze if it is secure or if it is processed in the agreed service level and time frame? And then, in addition to that, because the network has to grow, and when the network grows, we can sell more switches, the switch vendors went into the Internet of Things. So there's coming more and more and more traffic onto the network, and the tools cannot process all the traffic at one side, especially not the traffic they are not looking for. So in security, the window of opportunity to detect an incident becomes shorter and shorter because the whole bunch of informations going around in the fixed network, in the mobile network, and the agility where the users are changing around the data becomes faster and faster. And all these informations in between, so the fast informations which are running over mobile devices and informations out of the fixed network, out of the virtual network, out of the cloud, out of the Internet of Things, have to be put together to bring it to the tools. So that is the mission of Gigamon. Collect the data wherever it exists into your network design. Is it your own network? Is it private cloud? Is it public cloud? And bring that to your tools, that the tool can help you to make your network secure, to make it visible what is going on in the network, and to see where attacks happen. We are working together with an awful lot of bunch of companies. And without one of the companies on top, it's not worth having a Gigamon solution. But if you have a Gigamon solution, you simply connect all the vendors of security, visibility, forensic to the Gigamon solution, and you in the most of cases, apply one single appliance for a diversified network infrastructure below. And then you add the next one and the next one and the next one, and all your tools are connected to the visibility fabric of Gigamon. Well, I like to skip that one because it is a very American slide to be proud of, but it is going to steal the time. This is another slide which shows when a Gigamon customer starts to learn about Gigamon technology, he starts and then he continues to buy and to buy and to buy because he understands how to leverage the Gigamon solution in his advantage. Customers. So trends. The network is going faster. A couple of years ago, we had networks about 1 gigabit, and people were tapping 1 gigabit copper interfaces. Nowadays, we have 10 gigabit. We still have some 1 gigabit, but some are discussing about 10 gigabit on 40 gigabit BiDi. It's 40 gigabit, and it may be in some seldom cases customers which have a core of 100 gigabit. So all this is going to drive transformation trends, and the gap is that the data flows faster and faster in the network, but the tools do have really difficulties to cope the traffic. There are many and plenty of tools which are available, and you see that on an exhibition like this. Gigamon is a little tiny part here in the 3rd floor, somewhere in the corner of this big event here in Hungary. And you see all our partners going around presenting their solutions to you. But with a Gigamon solution, it is much more performant. Because the big data which is going around and where we're collecting it for all the different tools, for us, it is that we are bridging the gap. When you have tools which have 1 gig and 10 gig interface, because the majority of tools in the market do so, some may have 40 gigabit interfaces, then we do the traffic shaping for these tools, and we can use 4 times or 3 times or 7 times 1 gig or 2 times 10 gig to manage the traffic, which is the invisible gap if you don't do so. Today, every 6.7 nanoseconds, a packet is passing an incident in the network. So the speed of the data becomes very, very fast. And the analytics has to be very fast as well. So how can you be fast in analytics? First of all, if you take everything which you are not analyzing away from the CPU, because then the CPU does not have to do a job which it's not supposed to do. Another thing is that you can focus when you have identified an incident into an environment, and you feed back the Gigamon visibility fabric saying, hey, listen, I don't want to see all of that. I just want to see those 3 gentlemen over there, those 3 gentlemen over there, and Jürgen, because they're all sending out 50 gigabit, which they never do, to one IP address outside of my network. So with all that in place, your visibility has a drastic need to change. The change is driven by rising capabilities in the network, by security dynamics that the tools have to be supported in a way that they need the data more precisely, and that all is delivered out of a Gigamon visibility fabric. If you want to see that in a more detailed way, how the fabric is built, just come to the booth. I'm here for about 2 days. I will walk you through. It is a software solution. We have 3 types of appliances because we need one appliance to make it happen, but all the rest, header stripping, getting rid of things which are not allowed to go to tools, it's all software driven. 79% of all companies in the world are affected by security attacks as of today. And 75% think that they are in command and control. But this is going to change over time again, because attacks now become silent. They sit somewhere in the network. They don't do anything. They just sit there and you don't see them. And they do not harm any person. And then 6 months later, it is going to change, And it comes again to something where it is not really simple to find them. So a security delivery platform helps you to work into the perimeter, into the core, and into the distribution and aggregation area, down into the software-defined data center, where the visibility today depends on Cisco ACI, network directors, and virtualization technology, and services outside from your own management and capabilities purchased via Amazon Web Services or others. So you have to be really on peak of encrypted data, because encrypted data is to increase in the networks and used more and more on websites, and you have to isolate incidents which happen in the network. So you have to understand your complex data volumes and what is in your network in. And Gigamon delivers you the toolbox to make that visibility happen. So talking about the breach, usually I'm a scuba diver. For me, a breach is something where I would say, yes, I'm waiting for that long time, because breach is normally when you have the sea very, very calm, nothing happened, and then all of a sudden a big whale comes out to impress his wife and breaches the surface. It's marvelous for a super scuba diver, but at the end of the day, a breach nobody wants to have in the IT industry, because that's the same. Somebody comes up and something really impressive happens, but at the end of the day, it's an attack to your security. So usually it goes into your network, it is fishing around in your network and in your persons in the network, which you can't protect with Gigamon, and then it's trying to find a backdoor. Then it goes into there, moves around in the network, then it starts data gathering, and at one day it is just blasted out of the network. So then you see the effect. That can take up to 6 and 9 months. You see that in 100 days maybe, but usually you have to observe every day the network and see the anomalies in there, how that really works and how you put the bricks together. So the network itself delivers the data to the Gigamon platform, and the Gigamon platform shapes the data into a way the security analytics tools wants to have that. The video tools get the video streams, and the firewalls get the firewall data, and the ATP get the ATP stuff. And the big thing is, we not only do that on a packet level. We can do that on layer 7. We can do that on stream level. When the stream is identified, we send the stream to analytics, and when the stream session is terminated, we cut down the analytics on that, because we identify that the stream is over. So our solution went from level 2, or layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, and layer 6. And we are thinking about layer 8, but it's very hard to get into the personalities which are sitting in front of the personal computer. So, as I said, these models have to scale, and scaling is about CapEx and OpEx. So if the infrastructure is always producing OpEx and CapEx, we try to limit that to a minimum. Usually you tap the data with a physical copy of the data from your network into the visibility fabric, and as I said, we need minimum 1 appliance. It could be more depending on the size of the network, the design the customer needs, but at the end we try to bring that down and bring CapEx and OpEx cost down so that you have subscriber cost. This is called Gigamon Visibility as a Service, and especially our partners can use that to sell it as a service to the customers. With Gigamon itself, you're reducing that because you do have invest into Gigamon, of course, but you have to invest less into the solution when you calculate them all together, or in seldom cases even with one single implementation of a firewall solution or something like that. So first of all, it is resizing your security structure. It gives you different opportunities in the perimeter of having serial and parallel firewall analytics at the very same time. So Gigamon's visibility fabric is going to deliver to you any tool connected at a less cost, any monitoring collected at a less cost, and at the end of the day, having total visibility of your complete infrastructure. So these are customers which are already using our stuff in the US, including private and public cloud, and using Amazon Web Services to run that in a very, very meshed network, not the network owned by yourself, the data center owned by yourself. It is all diversified across America, and they're building that together to one cloud running their network. How is that done? You get the traffic shaped into containers. It is shipped down to you from Amazon Web Service down to your network, and then you process the data which is done by the web services into your databases to come to the results and the analytics you want to have. Our partners we are supporting today, this is one of the security slides. If you go onto whatever search engine you use and you type in hashtag wefightsmart, you will be redirected to the 35 security companies which are working closely together with Gigamon and using our application programmers interface to work with our visibility fabric to reshape the traffic the way they need that. One of the requests coming out of our customers was that more and more security solutions are driven to be handled on a virtual machine and then doing the analytic jobs. So how do we get the traffic into a virtual machine? And the solution for that was the implementation of layer 2 GRE tunneling. So Gigamon's visibility fabric is tunneling the traffic into the virtual world of VMware, and then tools like Lastline or LightCyber can sit on a virtual machine, can be installed on a virtual machine, and getting the traffic which is delivered by the visibility fabric from Gigamon. These are the different ones which we are working on for different pillars. So it is easygoing, any network, any tool. We are tool agnostic, we are network agnostic, and we are working with all the places. With our ecosystem partner, RSA, we do have a solution. And the good thing for everybody in the room is you do not have to remember everything I'm saying today. You just simply go to the website of Gigamon, you go to the resource center, and whatever fits your interest you're looking for, type in Cisco, and you will get a 70 pages booklet, how to design a Gigamon visibility fabric within a Cisco environment where you want to use ER-span layer 3, including timestamping, and how you get the best results for your security, for your network performance management, application performance management and measurement out of your Cisco network by integrating Gigamon into it. So this is available for RSA, which is one of our partners, and you will find them. The visibility solution is built on NSX for the software-defined data center, so you will find that on the web page as well. It is VMware certified and is running for everything where you have an NSX solution, or you have a VMware solution with a Cisco ACI installed that is working in a very similar way. What we do is we take the application programmers interface of the different vendors, and we are using these application programmers interface to have automatic analytics, because no one with 6.7 nanoseconds of a packet passing a port is capable to manage changes by hand. Everything should be orchestrated and automated, and we do that with the Gigamon Fabric Manager and the REST APIs, which do the integration to third-party tools like RSA or others. We have a perfect integration into Splunk. So when you're using Splunk, we have tools which are integrating Gigamon and Splunk so that you have a perfect visibility. And as Splunk is using NetFlow generation, NetFlow generation is always a topic to discuss with the guys which are running the network, because if you want to get that NetFlow unsampled, if you want to have consistent NetFlow, and you have a heterogeneous network based out of, let me think about HP, Cisco, Extreme, and other switch vendors, the easiest way is do not produce workload on this production switches and increase the workload of the production CPU of a switch or a router. As Gigamon has access to the complete network, the most easiest way is give Gigamon the task to generate network net flows and to generate these unsampled, because we are generating them into the visibility fabric, and this is generated on dedicated CPU power, which we especially insert for that case. So you will get, whatever the network is below, a consistent net flow. You will get that unsampled, and you have no discussion as a security department with your network department if that is going to harm your productions. Splunk would really benefit from that as well. Viavi is a forensic tool, so we have a relationship with Viavi. We have Checkpoint and Palo Alto, which we are supporting on inline, and where the inline capabilities of this marvelous, this marvelous board here, it is called Inline Bypass board, gives you the opportunity to completely redesign your perimeter, use your existing firewalls and whatever you have in there for analytics, and really define what happens when a firewall does not work. Hand over the traffic to a spare part one, bridging the firewall because it's not so interesting for you as a company, because you're more interested to keep your customers happy that they can run your portal and deal on the portal and close business where you're participating from the business. Think about eBay. You have something where the firewall says, no, we have to block the traffic. I think the CEO of eBay would take the risk that they are attacked by a big worm or whatever, but he never would stop working with the data center where the customer is doing trading on the eBay portal. So we deliver on that load balancing, fault tolerance, SSL decryption, and that is one of the benefits where these partners are working with. NetFlow statistics, we have all talked about all that. ArcSight, Logarithm, IBM Radar, Splunk, they all participating from that kind of tooling. And the IPS systems, which we can integrate into that, like Tipping Point, Cisco SourceFire, or IBM, can become true inline solutions, used Gigamon as a source of data delivered to them. Another example which we could use, for example, is we do SSL decryption as an offline. So when Gigamon does the SSL decryption, you can put an IDS system in front of it and then alert the people and then act on it. With our partner Blue Code, you can hold the packages back, and when the package is clean, it is delivered. So we put Blue Code and FireEye together in an inline solution to make SSL decrypted analytics. Web appliances, where we're working with Imperfect, and it is not for every of these solutions a new Gigamon that you have to put in place. It is one Gigamon in place supporting all these solutions. LANCOPE is meanwhile Cisco solution, so that is the same, and where we can get the traffic differently shaped. And as you can see with this slide, it is always the same visibility fabric, but it is different softwares applied to that, what you want to do with the packet and with the traffic, to bring it to the tool, that the tool really does what the tool is standing for. So one thing is very clear. If you run security by tomorrow, visibility matters. And if you send every data to the tool, I want to see your budgets increasing for security vices, managing traffic, which they can't analyze. I have been asked to gain 5 minutes because my speaker in front of me was 5 minutes late. So I'm open to have questions from your side, and I thank you very much for your attention.